Too much tonight, and I'll be pretty short and sweet, so, ready?
Yep.
I'd like to call this council meeting of April 3rd, 2017 to order, please. Roll call.
Mayor Jane.
Here.
Kathy.
Here.
Teresa.
Here.
Bill.
Yes.
Ralph.
Here. We need a motion to accept the minutes from the March meeting, please.
Motion made. Second.
Roll call, please.
Mary Jane.
Yes.
Kathy.
Yes.
Teresa.
Yes.
Bill.
Yes.
Ralph.
Yes.
I'd like a motion to approve the warrant payroll timesheet, please.
Motion made.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mary Jane.
Yes.
Kathy.
Yes.
Teresa.
Yes.
Bill.
Yes.
Ralph.
Yes.
Motion to approve the interest transfer, please.
I'll move the interest be transferred to the prospective funds.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mary Jane.
Yes.
Kathy.
Yes.
Ralph.
Yes.
Teresa.
Yes.
Bill.
Need a motion to approve the operating transfer to the police fund, please.
Motion made.
Roll call, please.
Mary Jane.
Yes.
Kathy.
Yes.
Teresa.
Yes.
Bill.
Yes.
Ralph.
Yes.
Motion to approve the grant matching transfer to the street department fund, please.
I move to do that.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mary Jane.
Yes.
Teresa.
Yes.
Kathy.
Yes.
Bill.
Yes.
Ralph.
Yes.
We have with us tonight Mr. John Bell. Would like to talk to council about electric and aggregate and gas aggregate. Mr. Bell, what is yours, sir?
How are you folks this evening? I appreciate you having me. Just a little bit of information for each of you on the company that I represent. I represent Integrity Energy. I live in Preble County. I've been a resident here for about 17 years. Here you are, sir. And on the second page is just a quote before the city council on your single phase and your three-phase meters. Integrity Energy, the company that I represent, we're one of the largest independent brokers in the United States. So what we do is we go out and we find wholesale pricing for you from the suppliers. What we do from that point is then we've got a marginal markup in it, and then you guys enter into an agreement with one of those suppliers for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years, depending on how you feel about the future of rates. I had the opportunity the last couple of weeks about the last week and a half, to go through some of your current bills with the agreement that you're in now. Your three-phase meters that you're in right now, you entered into a 5589 agreement with DP&L Energy before, but they had you in what's called an energy-only program, and that energy-only program allows the manufacturer of the electric, which is a company called PJM, to pass through what are basically transportation charges from where they manufacture it down to the gate at Dayton Power Line. And so your actual rate over that period of time was about a 5.98 per kilowatt on your triple phase or your three-phase meters. Your single-phase meters, they were charging you 6.87 cents per kilowatt hour in the single-phase market. And to put that into perspective for you guys, and why I think it's important for you to have somebody from the local community working as a rep on your behalf, is that at the time when these rates went into effect, the wholesale market was 4.6 cents. Right now, the wholesale market is 5.4 cents. And the rates that I'm offering to you now are cheaper than the rates that you had on the last cycle. And so I guess we'd like to have your business. We'd also like to be able to talk to you and make preparations for your aggregate. I got the opportunity to look at what you're paying for your aggregate this evening, or what the rate was on that. And that rate as well should be down in somewhere between 5.6 and 5.9, depending on what the daily rate is when we enter into an agreement like that. But I'd like the opportunity to save the village some money and try and protect you from some of the shortfalls that go with the electric and gas industry out there today. And I know that your current contract comes up for renewal in May, I think is what we talked about before.
And to enlighten you, when he's talking three-phase, we're talking about the commercial properties here tonight. So what we're talking about, we're not talking about to you about residential. Because our contract and commercial route, if I'm correct, is May expire of this year. And the commercial, or the residential is
Next year.
May or March of next year, correct?
One of the things that you don't want to let happen to yourself with these commercial electric contracts is most of them have what's called a rollover rate. So if you get to the end of the contract and you don't make a decision on renewal or change, they have a renewal rate that they put you in, or a rollover rate that they put you in until you make that decision. And oftentimes that's where they make up the money on you that they saved you initially in the contract. So if you guys have got any questions for me, I like to try and keep things short and sweet and pretty factual for you.
How soon would you have to know to get us switched over?
Well,
I mean,
the way that it
we don't want the
works,
contract to expire, as you just said. We don't want
Yeah.
that to happen no matter what.
the two best rates that are out here right now for you guys are from a company called ENGIE, E-N-G-I-E, and a company called Direct Energy. They both offer the best wholesale rates on a daily basis at this point. And with both of those companies, as long as we have 17 days prior to your next meter reading, we can get you set up for whatever agreement you decide to enter into. This rate that I showed you this evening is just for a 36-month period. We also do have rates with a couple of our providers out there. The ENGIE goes out as far as 60 months. If this council's opinion is that over time these rates are going to go up, and in your next cycle you're going to have a higher rate than you do now, you can enter into a rate for a longer period of time if you choose. My position with the rates right now is that there's so much natural gas that goes into the actual production of electric right now, that natural gas seems to be the trending commodity that kind of drives where electric rates are going in the future. And right now, the federal government's projecting that those natural gas rates will go up. Although this previous winter, that effect, they stayed pretty flat. They started to rise back out in January, but because we didn't have the January and February that we had the previous 2 years, the gas rate stayed pretty flat. So as long as I've got 17 days ahead of your next meter reading, you guys can make a choice at that point.
Now, you have no quote for the gas side of it?
Now,
The commercial side?
I didn't receive bills for the gas side of it, but our gas side of it right now is going to be around 48 cents. Well, that's 48 cents per 100 cubic feet.
And then you thinking that's a 36-month also?
I know for a fact that that's a 36-month. I actually only have one
Do you
supplier.
have a clue as what we're paying right now?
I can pull Bill off my head and all.
We have one on the table, maybe.
Your agreement on gas, if you entered into an agreement with somebody, could be as low as 41, 42 cents.
I honestly don't remember us being involved with the gas, on the gas side of it, quite frankly.
Yeah, I didn't see a gas bill for the city.
What was that from?
Yeah, but I'm saying I don't remember us ever signing an aggregate on the gas side with anybody in the past. We always just went with Vector, whatever that number was.
Whatever it was.
That's what I'm saying.
Now, as far as the gas aggregate goes, I mean, I've got a supplier, I've actually got a group of suppliers who would be attracted to building a quote of aggregation for you on gas as well as the electric. Right now, with your electric where it's at, I mean, I think we can get your citizens almost down a full cent per kilowatt hour on the electric side of it. And that's before we really even get into the evaluation of it and really press the pencil to the paper.
And you feel, I know, right now you're talking commercial, but you feel like you're going to be able to, by the time our contract's up and on the residential side, you're going to be able to have something put together for us?
Absolutely. I mean, the one thing that you guys should consider as a council also is that because natural gas has such an effect on the rates of electric, the best time for you guys to entertain your next electric and gas cycles would naturally be between April and June. because the states that don't have coal, that use a large amount of natural gas to produce their electric, they haven't started running their air conditioners real hard yet in those states. And our states are just shutting down the use of our furnaces, so it takes all of the demand, I won't say all, but the majority of the demand off of natural gas at that point. And so from April to June, it's a good time for you guys to look at prices from companies such as mine or my competitors to see, what you can get negotiated for your next contract cycle. The reality of it is that now that they've deregulated electric in the state of Ohio, and that initial drop came in the kilowatt hour pricing and the cubic feet of gas pricing, it's becoming more and more incremental, the savings. But just an example, on your single phase meters, we're almost 15% cheaper because of where they've got you at on that situation. We're going to charge you the same money on your single phase and your triple phase, and on the singles, you're going to save about 15% on the dollar spent in the previous cycle.
Now, prior to the meeting discussion, we had a discussion about one of our biggest expenses on the electric side is the street lighting. Was you able to find out anything about that?
I looked into your street lighting, and when I looked at your street lighting, because of the way they have your contract detailed, it's difficult for me to tell you what you're paying per kilowatt hour because of the way that they have that. They have that structured in such a way where you probably don't see what they have in the kilowatts per hour for the usage on the street lights. And as a result, it details out as maintenance operation costs per unit per year. And so there's a possibility that they are getting a wholesale rate from someone and marking it up to you as well on the operation of the kilowatt hours of your street lights.
So the street lights, do you think it's falling under residential, or is it falling under a commercial bill?
How do you,
Miami Valley Lighting, who takes care of our street lighting. DPNL Energy, who were prior contractors, what covered the street lights.
right?
So my question is the street lights falling on the commercial, or is it falling on the residential side?
Again,
I don't know.
I don't have a good way to tell that for sure. What I do know is that if that lighting is falling on the street side, I've got a feeling that that Miami Valley is getting a bill for your electric and they're billing you for it.
That's about $17,000 a year or so.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, my guess is it's just like in a lot of the mechanical services that I see in commercial and in villages. You'll have companies that come out and they handle all of the repairs of the infrastructure for you on a contract. And
that's what Miami Valley Lighting does.
And oftentimes when you see that, they get your electric bills for the lights, they get all your maintenance bills for the lights, and the agreement that they have with you incorporates all that in.
Has your company ever participated in any programs where they took care of street lighting?
We have not. And we would not, but at the same time, I would say that for you guys, probably the primary objective for you would just be to find out how much they're marking up your electric. And then as a council, I think you can collectively decide whether it's worth your time or not to bring that back in from a maintenance standpoint to control the electric cost.
Any other questions for Mr. Bell? Ralph?
Well, the street lights are a priority as far as I'm concerned.
Well, I agree, and that's, and the question is, yes.
Take with integrity, and then they can't provide the same.
Well, I don't know.
With the street lights, you could be like,
Well, I think the commercial, which is this building, the water plant, those are, I'm assuming I'm telling that that's probably separate than the street lights there anyway. That's a separate.
I'm assuming that also.
So you need 17 days, right, John?
Yes, sir.
And Ralph, you have remember what day of May ours is going to do? No, I do not remember.
Well, what happens is April the 8th, you guys are gonna have your meter read. Or I take that back, your contract ends May the 8th is when the ending date is. And your meter gets read in April, so you'll be out of contract for your May meter reading, which I think happens somewhere around the middle of the month, actually.
Okay.
So as long as we have some information from you guys on what direction you'd like to proceed in, by the last week of April.
Excuse me. Any thoughts on this?
I've been getting so many letters, I don't know what.
Well, the problem is, what happens is, just when we run out, they'll automatically hook with somebody.
Yeah.
And then you got the disconnect fee, because if you don't pick somebody, they'll automatically put you to
Yes.
somebody. And so,
Yeah.
the best thing is for council to decide in advance before that happens. It'd be a lot smoother transaction, and that way you don't get that delinquent charge of canceling or whatever. It's not right that they can automatically switch you and hook you up, but that's the way the world works. So,
Isn't Direct Energy part of the DPNL umbrella?
No, sir. As a matter of fact, DP&L Energy was part of the DP&L umbrella, but in January of 2016, they sold that division of the company. Now, they still do some renewals, but what's been my experience in the market recently, when I see renewals, the rates are very similar to yours. Their renewal rates are about 6.69. And so what happens for us, I worked for a supplier at one point. I worked for one of the biggest ones in the country called Constellation. And what happens is that these companies, they get you started on your first rate, and then they try and bump that each time. In our situation, because I have control of the margins, once I get the wholesale pricing, I'm able to offer you this time a cheaper rate than you paid in the last contract cycle before, with no additional charges, no hidden fees, and you still get billed by DP&L the same way you're getting billed now. None of that will change at all.
Is it going to make a difference with our street lighting contract if we're contracting with somebody else for service? That's the question, that's the only question I have.
and I don't know, because
I'm sure it's not
when
the
the
same.
detailed allergy on that time, they come in and
Yeah.
say this on that, and the street lights is involved in it. I don't have an answer on that, but we probably need to do some due diligence on that before we make a decision.
If those bills,
And the other problem being that you're saying that your company has never done street lighting.
well, we deal with the supply side of things. We don't deal with the maintenance side of street
Well,
lighting.
no, Miami Valley is going to do that.
Oh,
No,
no,
we're talking about
from that
the cost
standpoint,
of the electric to do them.
absolutely, no. We handle the electric. Any kind of electric that gets supplied from the manufacturer.
Right.
The reality is at this point, there's a company up in the northeast quadrant of the United States called PJM that manufactures this power, and they manufacture for everyone now, and they ship power down here. DP&L will, if it's a street light, they'll give it one account code. If it's your wastewater facility, they'll give it another account code, which will probably be, the three-phase type of electric account code. So we are able to handle the billing for all of the different types of account coding, whether it be street lights or whether it be three-phase for your wastewater facility.
So that's a 6-month payment or a one-time payment on the street lights?
It's every month.
It's every month, it's broken down.
But the way it looks right now, it looks like they've included the operation and the maintenance per unit and the way that they're billing you. And when I look at the electric bills that you guys get from DP&L right now, it appears to me that your street lights are on a bill that goes to Miami Valley.
Yeah, we pay them directly.
You pay them direct. I mean, the best I can tell, that's how it's designed. And most likely, they're making the decision on who the supplier is for the electric on that part of it,
Because they're doing the maintenance of it.
because they're doing the maintenance. And so you may not even see what the cost of the electric is actually to you.
So having said that, and that's most probably the way it works, we're talking about two different bills here.
Yes.
The buildings and
Yes.
the streetlights is
Streetlights.
separate. It's the way I would assume that works, and I think that's probably correct.
I would suggest to you guys that you know what they're marking their electric up to you. If they are indeed receiving electric at a rate and it's being marked up to you, it may be in your best interest.
But we may not have a choice if they're the ones doing the maintenance on them.
Right, yeah.
No, 'cause I don't think
Kind
that's
of got us
anything
over
we're
a
prepared
barrel a
to
little
do.
bit there, so, yeah. So the council wishes to further investigate this, or anything else is done with this?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think we ought to at least look and make sure it's not going to affect the
Interfere with the
rates
streetlight.
adversely. on
All right,
the
then we
streetlights.
will, John, will take a look at this and then do some due diligence on it, and then we'll have to get back with you either next month meeting is on the first or before, if we have a special meeting for whatever reason. If you're saying that you need 17 days and you're taking
It might
those
be
days.
that last week of April, we may have to
It may.
come in.
So,
Yeah, their last meter reading for you, the way I read your agreements, is their last meter reading is going to be this month in April.
Okay.
So then their May meter reading will be a rollover. And that's not I mean, it may be a penny or two per kilowatt hour that they roll you over into. I mean, I've seen them anywhere go from the rate that you're at now up to 8 or 9 cents.
Yeah, I think residentially we're at 6.3. I think was the last, if my memory serves me correctly, we were 6.3 and about 6.9 on the commercial side of it. So, all right.
All right,
Thank you, John, for coming in.
thank you all so much for your time.
You're welcome. Committee reports, safety chief.
We handled 126 calls for service in March, so 26 reports, 3 arrests, issued 16 citations, we had 25 warnings.
Okay. Thank you, chief.
Everything else okay?
You got broken good.
When you get into
It
that.
sounds to me like you did everything just fine.
Sure did.
Building.
Everything. Lights, somebody mentioned to me one of them was flashing. I don't have a vehicle tomorrow. I'm gonna get out and check it out.
One of the traffic lights is flashing?
One of the street lights
Oh, street lights.
up on Main Street, but I'll check it out as soon as I can.
Okay.
We did install some fire alarm system in the building. How many we put in? 30. Brought that up to COVID.
Okay. Streets.
The only thing I've done on the streets, like I said last month, the box has been delivered to put the hot mix in. As soon as they open the plant up, we will start working on the streets as fast as we can.
Also, I spoke with Jimmy the other day, Ralph, and you might want to check into this a little bit, seeing how we're not going to be obligated for matching funds this year on any of the grants. We might want to take a look at maybe some chip and seal in some places, especially Cardinal Fields. If we don't do something for long, something's gone, but seeing how we're not obligated, we might check into that a little bit, just to see what kind of money we have left to be able to do anything at all. Get your opinion on that, if you would, please. One thing while I'm thinking, I've got it wrote down here by streets. I had a phone call from a gentleman across from the old school over in the last couple of days. And he was wanting to know about all the dirt that's up there, whether he could use a truckload of dirt or not. I said, we put the dirt up there for a reason, that someday hope to cover up the school, but I would have to ask council about it, and I wasn't about to give him permission, so.
You told me to go and do it.
I didn't tell him anything, I said I would ask council.
Do we need it in the future? Or is it gonna go rain before we can get around to using
I
it?
didn't know dirt run, but.
Well, I mean, Weeds and stuff will start growing in it, grass will start growing in it. You know, kind of forms a top after a while, but
Okay, what are we planning,
I don't know
we don't
that.
have a man who would like to use it, what are we planning on doing with it? I know we were gonna try to keep it,
I
but
simply told the gentleman, I asked council, my opinion is that you're hoping the can of worms.
I think so too.
I thought y'all put
And
in a
it's not that
sandbox
I,
up there.
right,
I
I'd
do
love
my
it
due
if we
diligence
come
and tell the
get it.
man I do what I asked, told him I do, that's as council, but my own opinion is that I think you're asking for a can of worms.
I agree.
Well, I mean, then you're gonna have 50 people out to use that, you
Yeah.
know, I just don't
I
think
think we
that's.
just need to leave it and build a perimeter around it, make a big
So
sandbox.
too.
I was like,
Put a little sand on top.
And I kept my mouth shut.
I'm on board with it, I'm good, I just did what the gentleman asked me to do, so I'm good with that, thank you.
No, that's a slippery slope there.
I agree. Lights, the lights. Finance,
Finances are, they're working along. We need more of them, but
Yeah.
as far as that's a standing thing.
sanitation,
No.
planning, you know a little bit anything on
Oh,
planning?
yeah.
Wait,
That's all right, let's back
go
up.
back to sanitation.
Yeah, it would be under, I guess.
Well, I was gonna get back to the
Okay.
bottom, so how are you gonna
Okay.
do old business? I thought.
Go ahead.
Okay, all right. BPA, no one's here for BPA, no resolutions tonight. Old business. Last month, we had Mary here from the HIP Foundation, and I think she asked us for our support, and council agreed to that. Mary Jane put this letter together, which I've signed and you guys can sign. It's a letter supporting the establishment of the Preble County Land Bank as March 6, 2017, New Paris Village Council meeting. The council unanimously approved submission of this support letter. Establishment of land bank would greatly assist the communities of Preble County in the conversions of vacant and abandoned and tax delinquent properties into productive uses. Vacants, abandonment, and tax delinquent properties often destabilize neighborhoods, create fires and safety hazards, drive down property values, and drain our local tax dollars. In the village of New Paris, we have properties, the old Jefferson School, corner of Main and Washington, the old First National Bank, and several others that could be addressed with the help of the land bank that we feel could be a great program for the cleanup and unsafe blight areas within the village that is needed very badly. Therefore, New Paris Village Council strongly supports to establish a Preble County Land Bank to help address these issues that are a big unsafe problem to our villages and all other villages within the county. So if everyone would please sign that, we'll make sure that we get it sent back to HIP Foundation for our support.
Commissioners, it goes to the commissioners. Oh, we can send a copy to.
Well, we should send a copy to
Yeah,
Mary, yes.
Yeah.
New business, we have a renewal here for the flood, for the building here. We have new premiums, coverage for, on the building, $165,000, 105,000 contents. Deductible is $1,250. Premium for that amount is $37.51 as option one. Option two is the coverage on the building is $150,000, contents $100,000. The deductible is same as $1,250, and the premiums is $3,505. I think in the past, if I'm not correct or mistaken, $150 was where we was at before.
That's like a $50 increase from last year.
Yeah, well, it's about $150. If you go with it's about a 50, if you stay the same, it's about $150 if you want to up the coverage. What's council's opinion on this?
150 to up the coverage, you said?
Yes.
To
From-
165,000.
Yeah, to up the coverage, $15,000, you're gonna pay $150 more.
158.
This is a yearly premium. Yeah.
To stay the same as we are, we're going up 50.
We're going up $50 to stay the same as we are, which is $150 on the building, $100,000 on the contents,
Okay,
and
so-
$1250 deductible.
My question is it really only $100 more to add that, or is it going to be a $200 increase from what we're paying now?
The premium, which with the $50 she's talking about increase, the premium is $3,505. And if you go with the 165, it's $37.51. So it's an additional $150 above where we're at right now if you want to up your coverage by $15,000 on the building and only $5,000 on the content. I personally think we're good with where we're at, in my opinion, but council choose what they would like to do, please.
Say we stay with what we have.
For the time being, stay with what we have.
I would need a motion to renew the option 2, flood insurance with, Foremost, thank you.
I'll make that motion. That we stay with Foremost.
For 3505, is there a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mary Jane?
Yes.
Kathy?
Yes.
Teresa?
Yes.
Joe? Ralph?
Yes.
So now we have some bad news. Dear Mayor Van Winkle, thank you for your recent application to the Land Water Conservation Fund grant program. Many excellent proposals were received, creating considerable competition for available grant funds. Unfortunately, the subject proposed was not selected for the funding. I appreciate your interest in the Land Water Conservation Fund grant program and encourage you to apply for funding again in future funding cycle. Please contact Mary Finch of my staff should you have any questions, further information. In other words, we didn't get the money to tear the building down.
Is it a 2-year cycle that they're on?
I don't know. I got to call Susan tomorrow. Mandy made contact with Susan today, and Susan had not received the letter. She didn't know anything about it.
Oh, really?
So I was assuming that when I got the letter, Susan was.
Yes, I would have thought so.
But she did not, and she said she was going to look into what happened. That's all I can tell you at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, to say the least.
We're on camera, what is it?
Yeah, the lease is all.
Yeah, but we all feel the same, we just chose not to say it.
Back to square one as always. So. Anybody have anything? Ed, got something? Council? Next meeting will be May 1st, 2017 at 7 o'clock. We need a motion to adjourn, please.
So we adjourn.
Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.